What's up, people? Welcome back to Invest with T-Claus. My name is Tevi, and this is a channel dedicated to my investment journey, along with coverage on Tesla, NEO, Virgin Galactic, and ChargePoint. Come for the information, stay for the random clips. We're now 2 weeks away from the end of the quarter. This means that we're quickly approaching my next full transparency update, or what I like to call my Q2 earning call. I'll likely take the 4th of July weekend off, so this means that I'll either post next weekend or the weekend of the 10th of July. Also, because today's random clip needs to be watched in full to be fully appreciated, it'll be the outro to this video, so stick around till the end. All right, so for today's content, I'll start with a summary of the macro environment with the key takeaways from the Fed meeting that took place on Wednesday, then get into some noteworthy news around ChargePoint, Doge, and Bitcoin, and wrap up with the portfolio performance expressed in percentage gain or loss for the week. Drop me an early like for the YouTube algorithm as it helps this video get a bit more traction. Get comfortable, and let's get into it. So if you recall last week, I told you that the main thing to watch out for from a macro perspective was the read on the PPI number and the debate that will inevitably ensue post the Fed meeting. Sure enough, PPI came in at a record high, which again, anyone paying attention was not surprised by this. Jerome Powell spoke on Wednesday and delivered the message I expected he would, and the highlights are as follows. Current inflation is related to supply chain imbalance and will resolve over time. The economy is stronger and moving in the right direction. However, it still has a ways to go from a job recovery standpoint. Current interest rates will remain unchanged with continued asset purchases at the same pace. And a rate hike is not expected until 2023, at which point they may do 2 rate hikes instead of the one previously communicated. Now, he made it very clear that this is, of course, a dynamic situation, and data will drive their decision on when to start adjusting asset purchases, or taper, which is another term you'll hear often said. And that makes perfect sense, since they don't have a crystal ball, and 2023 is still ways off. Now, again, 2023 is the average estimation for when they're going to when they're planning to do this, but it could come in sooner or later, depending on, again, how the economy is performing and whether or not they've reached the target unemployment rate of 4% or less. And that's pretty straightforward, right? Now, that didn't stop some hedge fund managers and the media from creating a polarized debate around this, because how else would they sell the news, right? And as expected, now it's all about, you guessed it, when will the Fed start tapering? We talked about this last weekend, and if you didn't catch the video, you can go back and watch it. I'll link it here. Again, I can't say that I'm surprised it went down the way it did. What surprised me, however, was the response that Courtney Gibson, who is the president of Loop Capital Market and a board member at Lululemon, just to name a few of her credentials, gave during a panel interview on CNBC. Take a listen.
I agree with David Tepper 100,000%. Right now, the Fed is doing exactly what we would want them to do. I don't know what all this chaos is around, Jay Powell, and did he do a good job? What more do you want? I mean, he literally talked about talking about tapering. How much foreshadowing do you need in this market? We know that they're going to raise rates. They've said that for eons and eons. So unless people aren't listening, they didn't hear that. I don't know what the surprise was yesterday, other than saying, hey, we might give you 2 rate hikes almost 2 years from now. Let's think about this for a second, guys. And we don't know if it's going to be 25 bips, if it's going to be 50 bips, but they're telling you what they're thinking about for you to prepare. There are no surprises. This Fed is not trying to play games with our lives, with our money, or any of the above. I think that Jay Powell is doing a phenomenal job, and if we use our 2 ears to actually hear what they're saying and watch what they're doing, you'll be able to prepare your portfolios appropriately. I mean, again, what more do you want?
That is priceless. I mean, she's the real deal. She's the real MVP. Anyways, I'll link the full interview in the description below. You can go and watch it. I'd actually encourage you to go watch it. And as you listen, you'll see how the host tries to insert more FUD, so that's fear, uncertainty, and doubt, into the discussion. I think it's pretty amusing when even money managers are getting tired of these games that some of their peers and the media tries to play, right? So the bottom line here is, I'm not changing my strategy. People who get nervous and sold are likely those who plowed heavily into those reopening plays, and we're counting on an inflation narrative, frankly. Well, now they have to be more cautious and reduce their exposure. Why? Because in an environment with low rates, tech or growth stocks tend to outperform. This is precisely why we saw the Dow consistently drop each day this week as people rebalanced their portfolio, and the Nasdaq gained. This is a good segue into talking about ChargePoint, who would be one of those names who would benefit from the current macro environment. All right, so great performance by ChargePoint this week with a little over 15% gain, bringing the price up to $33.14. The last time I covered them, I told you that as time went on, you could expect them to announce more partnership with legacy automakers, and that's exactly what we heard this week. After Volvo and GM, ChargePoint has now added Mercedes-Benz to its list of strategic partners. And this is a quote from the announcement that we received. ChargePoint's integration of multiple charging network operators offer Mercedes Me Charge drivers a frictionless cross-charging network experience without the need for multiple charging network accounts, subscriptions, or charging cards. These drivers will be able to find, use, and pay for a charging session either from inside the vehicle or from the Mercedes Me Charge mobile app. As a reminder, ChargePoint has the largest level 2 network around, and they're quickly growing their DC fast charger footprint as well. Other than Tesla, no one else has a network that expands across the US and Europe the way that ChargePoint does. As legacy automakers are pushing to have more and more EVs on the road by mid-decade, the only way for them to convince their clients to make the switch from ICE to EVs is to have the convenience of a charging network. So unless Tesla opens their supercharger network to other automakers, ChargePoint is the number one choice. And even if Tesla did, which there's more and more rumbling around the fact that they might, if you were GM, Mercedes, or any other OEM for that matter, would you put more money into the pocket of your number one competitor who's already dancing circles around you? I don't think so. So with the infrastructure bill still to come, EV adoption on the rise and quickly accelerating, with the microenvironment that has low rates, positive momentum should continue with ChargePoint. Now, let's talk about Dogecoin. All right, so moving on to Dogecoin, I haven't covered too much about Doge recently because frankly, there hasn't been a ton of substance. It's been mostly a bunch of memes or people hoping for the next Elon tweet. That's what I see most often discussed and shared. Now, that's good enough for some, but I prefer to have something a bit more substantial before I share something, right? So, for example, something that could actually advance the source code of Doge, help it evolve to the next level, and become a viable currency with more use cases, ultimately increasing its adoption rate. And so that type of news would be something like this that I'm about to share now. Vitalik Buterin, who's the creator of Ethereum, was on the Lex Fridman podcast recently, where he discussed a range of topics. Very informative, and it honestly made me that much more bullish on Ethereum. But how this relates back to Doge is this. He revealed that he owns some Doge, but more importantly, he saw the potential for a collaboration between Ethereum and Doge. The exact quote is this: I think we can have a secure Doge to Ethereum bridge. That would be amazing. And then when Ethereum gets any scalability that works for Ethereum assets, you would be able to trade wrapped Doge with very low transaction fees and very high speed as well. Well, now the folks at Doge Lab, which is an independent blockchain research lab, are working on just that. The project also includes a potential solution for addressing the inflationary nature of Dogecoin. I'll link the full article. You can go and read that. I actually recommend that you do. Very informative. Now, should this come to fruition, it would be a game changer for Doge, its value and usability. Of course, we know that Elon and the core team at Doge are also working on something to make Doge more scalable. The bottom line here is we could see some serious development in coming months or by this time next year around Doge. And that is reason enough for me to hodl my Doge, though admittedly I did switch over some of my gains from Dogecoin over to Ethereum and Bitcoin. Now, that's not a walk away from Doge, that's simply a rebalance so that I'm more evenly spread across all three. And that is a good segue into talking about Bitcoin. All right, so we now have confirmation that Paraguay will be the next Latin American country to follow in the footsteps of El Salvador. They are planning to introduce the legislation in July for formal adoption. Pretty big news. It remains to be seen if the bill will pass. That said, many Latin American countries, along with Tanzania and Ethiopia, are now considering the same move. With this, we're already starting to see the ripple effects of the Salvadorian adoption. How things play out in El Salvador will dictate further acceleration or a slowdown in this movement. Last but not least, in support of signs of more broad-based crypto adoption heading our way, was the announcement by the Grayscale Trust that they are expanding their list of assets under consideration for institutional participation. Now, the three that stand out to me are Cardano, Polygon, and Polkadot. And that's because I've taken a position in those specifically. But more importantly, one could say that the projects on this list are being evaluated because of their potential long-term success. Now, that's my take on it. Remember that I'm not a financial advisor, so do your own research before deciding whether or not these are worth buying, or anything else on that list for that matter. Now, should you decide to buy and get deeper into the cryptoverse, I have my Coinbase referral link in the description below, and you can use it and get some free Bitcoin. All right, so let's move on to the weekly performance review expressed in percentage gain or loss for the portfolio. And at the top here, I was up by 6.81% before dropping as low as 2.91% in the red, and ultimately recovered to an overall loss of 1.77% for the week. Despite the gains in every stock that I own, those were offset by the fact that the crypto world is still under pressure because Bitcoin is under pressure and there is a lack of catalyst to drive the overall crypto market up. So yes, Bitcoin had some good news, but the ESG concerns are essentially all the talk around its impact on the environment are still weighing heavy. Also, you can now add to that the looming death cross in the next day or two here, which has a ton of people nervous. So for those of you who don't know what a death cross is, it's basically when the 200 moving day average price and the 50-day moving average price cross on the chart. That historically has led to more selling pressure, and that's because we went up, 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 and now we're back down to where we were a few months ago as far as the price is concerned. Now, with that said, it does present a great buying opportunity, given that you believe that in the long term, things will work out and Bitcoin will reach 100K, which obviously I do. So to me, this death cross is a welcome discount. Lastly, the fact that Mark Cuban got burned pretty bad, and not just him, right, but a bunch of other people, but he's the only billionaire on the list, so it's obviously going to get a lot of press. But he got burned pretty bad on one of his crypto investments that went near zero this week. And so that got publicized quite a bit this week. All in all, though I'm down a bit, it wasn't too bad of a week. I'll continue to be opportunistic by taking advantage of the weakness in both the stocks and crypto that the macro environment provides in the near term. Again, I don't day trade and I do have a 5-year time horizon. So this back and forth is actually ideal for me to continue to accumulate. All right, but that will do it for today's video. Hope you found the content insightful, and if you did, please smash the like button. You can also share the video to give me more exposure and help me grow the channel. For my newcomers, remember to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future content like this as it drops. As a reminder, I do post every Sunday and occasionally during the week. And you can also follow me on Twitter if you want to stay up to date with the latest news as it catches my attention. With that said, thank you for watching, stay humble, hustle hard, and I'll see you in the next one.
What's his name? E-L-O-N, Elon Musk. He is a real-life superhero conquering Mars. He's lighting weed with a flamethrower, riding electric cars. E-L-O-N, Elon Musk. E-L-O-N, Elon Musk. Guys, does our monkey already have a Twitch channel? And where is Shrek 5? I really want to see that movie. Future in crypto is already there. Hold on to the Doge, now it's everywhere. They say it is stupid, but he doesn't care. That's why he's the coolest crypto billionaire. Extraordinary, real life Tony Stark. Welding the iron builds the Cybertruck. Everyone laughing when the steel ball struck, but this visionary doesn't give a fuck. He builds rockets and electric cars, takes on AI, plants Jurassic Park, sets new standards, pushes forward fast, changes the world and reaches for the stars. What's his name?